All right, let's pull back the curtain on the internet. We're going to uncover the incredible, lightning fast journey that happens every single time you visit a website. It seems like pure magic, but it's actually a really fascinating process. So, have you ever actually stopped to think about it? What is going on in those few seconds between typing in a web address and bam, the page just appears on your screen? Let's trace that whole journey together, from your keyboard, out across the world to a server, and all the way back again. Okay, so let's dive right in. Our journey kicks off with a simple request. Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is like sending a letter. You gotta know exactly where it's going, and you need a way to send it. And our starting point, our vehicle for this whole trip, is your web browser. Whether it's Chrome, Firefox, Safari, this is your personal window that lets you go out and grab information from, well, anywhere on the planet. Now to go anywhere, that browser needs an address. And that's the URL. It's just like typing a street address into your GPS. A URL is that unique location that tells the browser precisely where to find the website you're looking for. So you type in that friendly, human-readable address. But here's the catch. Computers don't really speak in names. They speak in numbers. And that's why we need the DNS, the domain name system. It's the internet's giant phone book, translating a name that's easy for us to remember into a number that's easy for computers to find. And that number is the IP address. Every single machine connected to the internet has one. This isn't just some general zip code. It's the exact, unique coordinate for the server we're trying to reach. That IP address finally leads us to our destination, the web server. Think of this as the house at the address we just found. It's a really powerful computer, and its main job is just to sit there, store all the files for a website, and hand them over when your browser comes knocking. So the server gets a request, and it's ready to respond. But it doesn't just send back a messy jumble of files. No way. It sends back a highly organized blueprint that tells your browser exactly how to build the web page you asked for. And this blueprint is called the DOM, or Document Object Model. Now, this is a crucial point. The DOM isn't the raw code itself. Instead, it's the browser's live, logical model of the page's structure, kind of like an architect's blueprint for a house. And what's so cool about this slide is how it visualizes that idea. You can literally see how all the different parts of a web page, the head, the body, the title, are all organized into a neat little family tree. This structure is what lets a browser actually understand and display the page correctly. This blueprint, it's written in a language like HTML, or maybe its stricter cousin, XHTML. This table just shows a couple of key differences that developers care about. For example, XHTML is super precise. It says all tags have to be lowercase. Why? Well, it just helps keep the code cleaner and way more consistent. Okay, so we have our blueprint. But a house that's just a frame isn't very useful, right? We need to add the electricity, the plumbing, the stuff that makes it functional. And in the web world, that's where JavaScript comes in. JavaScript is the language of interactivity. It takes that static house frame, the DOM, and gives it the power to change and respond to you, all without having to reload the entire page. It turns a flat document into a dynamic, living application. So how does it do this? Well, it listens for events. An event is just any action you take, pressing a key, moving your mouse, clicking a button. You can think of JavaScript as the house's internal wiring, always sensing when you flip a switch and then making something happen because of it. And this right here brilliantly illustrates the toolbox JavaScript uses to react to those events. It can use a command to, say, add a new room to our house, or another one to knock down a wall, all in the blink of an eye. But hold on, what about personalized stuff? When a site greets you by name, where does that information come from? It's not in the original blueprint. For that, we've got to go back to the server, to the real brains of the operation. This is where a server-side language like PHP really shines. PHP does all the heavy lifting on the server, running scripts, grabbing your data from a database, and building a custom HTML blueprint that's made just for you, all before it's ever sent to your browser. And on the server, there are a lot of different tools to get the job done. Even for something as simple as displaying text, languages like PHP have different commands. Each one has these subtle little performance trade-offs that developers are always thinking about to build fast, dynamic websites. Now, to manage all this custom data, PHP uses something called an array. Just think of it like a filing cabinet in our house. It's a special container that can neatly store and organize a whole list of related things, like all the products in your shopping cart or every user on a site. And this simple line of code just perfectly illustrates the whole idea. You don't need to be a programmer to see what's going on here. We've got one variable, student, and it's holding a neat, organized list of 3 different names. Simple as that. All right, we've covered the request, the blueprint, the interactivity, and the custom content. But there's one last crucial piece to our puzzle. How does a website remember you when you come back tomorrow? The answer is a simple but really powerful little tool called a cookie. It's just a tiny file that the server asks your browser to hang on to. The best analogy, it's like the key to your house. When you come back, your browser shows the key and the website knows who you are. And creating this key is a pretty straightforward process. The server uses a function to set the cookie. It gives it a name, a value, and an expiration date. Your browser then just holds onto it, ready to identify you on your next visit. So there you have it. From a simple click to a fully interactive, personalized page, that is the incredible journey. It's a complex dance of technologies all working together in perfect harmony. So now that you know all this, the next time you're browsing, what will you see differently as that page loads on your screen?